Assalamu alaikum. Now let's talk about the classical method, one of the methodologies that are. Now the classical method is something that we're actually very accustomed to in our schooling system even. And when you want to bring in that classical method into your homeschooling, the transition is easy in a sense if you understand the objectives of classical method. Classical method here in the West, especially in the US, is heavily Christian-based education. However, if you understand what the basis of classical education is, you can definitely use it in an Islamic environment too, because the classical education is based on ancient methods, where it's love of virtue, which means adab, think well, which means logical thinking, and lifelong learners. That means making connections throughout through our environment, through things, so that we can continually increase in knowledge. The focus of classical education, especially, is never on the curriculum. It is always on the teacher, the one who is modeling before their students. Ancient Greek methods is the basis of this, and that is so true when we say that as parents we need to model best of characteristics for our children to be able to follow them. And the best of adab is taught when not through repetition of your tongue, but through repetition of your mannerism. The 3 stages of instructions from grade 1st to 4th are usually facts, and facts means making repetition and helping them memorize. For example, having aisles of connection in their minds, and you can do it like memorization of the Quran, memorization of the Hadith, memorization of the alphabets. All of this is happening between grade 1 to 4. They're learning phonics, they're learning punctuation, they're learning grammar, they're learning how to form a sentence, they're learning the basic concepts of math, they're memorizing multiplication. All these comes under the fact. Then from grade 5 to 8, there is in the adolescence age, the pre-adolescence age, there is a lot of logical understanding, focus on why things happen, analyzing how things happen, analyzing what is the purpose, what is happening behind this whole chemical reaction. That is what the second stage is when we're teaching children logic. The third is, and that's the high school stage, where we teach them rhetoric, which means taking from the first stage and the second stage, taking the building blocks of knowledge from the first stage, then taking the method of analyzing from the second stage, and rhetoric taking the critical thinking and then presenting your ideas and helping them present their ideas clearly by the time they're able to graduate high school. So if you want to put it in an Islamic model, you would do like this, that memorization and learning grammar and learning language is going to come in the first stage. The second stage is going to teach them how to use that language, how to form a rich composition out of that language, right? And why is it being used, and what are the purposes of bringing in all that information, tying that into a sense where you can when they can start explaining things, expressing things. And the last stage, the high school stage, is when they're able to separate fact and fiction, when they are able to build their whole argument on fact, on logic, and then systematically be able to present it. And so if you and I think about this a little bit harder, I think we were also in schools taught by the classical method also, because if you were growing up in Islamic countries and Muslim countries, majority of the time our focus was on adab, was on mannerism, was on how our teachers behaved. Of course, with the downfall of morals in our societies, that is not the case, but classical method is something that we're very familiar with, and if you want to bring that into your homeschooling, it's pretty easy. I would suggest that you visit thewelltrainedmind.com to further see how you can bring in that method into your home if that's something that you're interested in. It's not about buying the books, because those books, again, sometimes do not serve our purpose. However, it's the methodology, the philosophy that we're talking about. And your homeschooling philosophies are going to be different on different stages, and they can be a mix of many methods, the eclectic method, which is usually. Check it out. Thank you, and let's go forward for the next video.